Calling all gamers, it's time to review Healthy Heart Hospital. Let's check it out. Okay, so setup for the game is very simple. What you're going to do, first off, you're going to put all your training books here, flip 2 of them over for upgrades later to train your doctors. You're going to set up your prestige at 0, the money right here at 00, and this little 1 counter here at 5, because everyone starts with $5. You're also going to mix up these little now hiring tokens, and they have little people that you can hire underneath here. You're going to mix them up, put them in this order. When you reach a certain prestige, you will unlock these new hires here, and you have the option to hire them. You don't have to hire them in order. If you unlock 3 of them, you could hire the 3rd one first, then the 2nd one, and then maybe another one if you unlock that one. So that's there. That's available for you. Also, you're going to randomly pick 4 beds and 4 numbers and put them here in these wards. These are what the bed tokens look like. They are double-sided. So as you can see, this is a 3 and a 4, this is a 1 and a 2. They come in all 5 of these colors here, and you can put them out throughout here. So I just randomly grabbed 4, just put them up here. So here we have infectious diseases. I have someone who's a 4 there. That means he's in critical condition. Psychiatric, no one there in the psychiatric ward yet. Internal medicine, I have 2 guys. One's pretty stable, one's just showing symptoms if he's a 1. I have cardiology who's a 2 and trauma who's a 3. So he's getting pretty bad over there at 3. I have my waiting room over here, which is where new patients will arrive. I also have a stack of things that say ward ability, and you'll just shuffle these up and then put 5 randomly up here at the top of each ward, and then you'll reveal them. And they can be good or bad. This one says that I must heal the worst first. So if I had a few beds here, I'd have to heal the 4 one before I could heal number 1. And so you'd flip over each ward ability. Like I said, some are good, some are bad. And then you can begin your game. Oh wait, of course you got to pick your doctors though. So you have all these doctors you can choose from in the game. And then you have administrators here at the end. The game requires at least 4 doctors and 1 administrator. So if you're playing a 2-player game, 2 of you are going to play 2 of these doctors each, and you're just going to randomly select them from the admin and from the doctor deck. If you're playing 4 players, you can take turns taking over the admin duties here. Or if you have 5 players, each one can play a doctor and 1 person plays the administrator of the hospital there. Now, each one of these doctors are going to get 2 actions when it comes their turn. And then an administrator will also have their chief of staff action and then a regular administrator action. Now, once you use these actions, you'll flip them over, and as you see, they go from colored to black and white. So that's how you can tell if you've used an action or not. Another thing that you see here is a cemetery here. That's when patients, if you can't cure them and they die, you're going to take one of these little tombstone tokens and place it here. As you see, the cost per body adds up because people keep suing you. The more you keep killing them. One of the ways to lose is go completely broke and you can't afford to what they call bury or hide a body, which is kind of disturbing when you think about it. So that's one way you can lose. The other way you can lose, if you fill all these up and you kill another person, you need to hide their body or plant their tombstone, and you don't have a place on the board to do so, you would lose the game. So anyway, that's basic setup there. So how an average turn would go, the first thing you would do is you'd bring patients into the room here, the waiting room. So you'd flip over 2 of these cards. One would go in the left triage and one would go in the right triage. And they say little stupid things like cafeteria food poisoning, draw 5 cubes. And this one says, new parking garage completed, draw 6. I have no idea what these mean. They're just kind of random. But it'll tell you how many cubes you have to draw from. Now, the game comes and they give you a bunch of little wooden cubes of all different colors that you're going to be playing with. They don't give you anything to put them in, so I have this little bag here is where I'm going to be drawing the cubes from. The book says you can get a cup or something to keep them in. Kind of stupid they didn't give you anything, but I'll get to that later on in the review. Anyway, so right here, let's say I would draw 5 cubes. So I'm going to draw 5 cubes from the bag. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so that's what I have right there. So I have 2 yellows, 2 greens, and a red. I will put them in their corresponding columns here. And later on in the game, I can transfer them as one of my actions into one of these rooms here, so I can start treating them. And as you see, if they have 2 cubes on them, they'd be a 2 when they're transferred here. So I'd get the little bed that's a 2, and I'd transfer them and put them into the infectious disease ward. Of course, the green would be a 2, this one would be a 1. Sometimes you may want to leave them in there, because if they're not, at 3 or 4, it's not that serious. But let's draw the other one here. I have to draw 6 on this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. All right, so here again I have 2 blues. They'll go here. 2 greens will go here. I have a gray guy here and yellow one there. So no red on that one. Now, if I were to pick a black cube, there are a few black cubes in your pile here. If you pick a black cube during this phase, you have to discard it and then draw an additional 2 more cubes. Now what would happen if I picked another black cube? Well, then I would keep drawing another 2 cubes. But of course, any cubes that you use are going to be discarded from the game until you're out of cubes, and then you dump them back in, shake them all up, and start all over again. Anyway, so that's the first action you'll do. Now the second thing you're going to do is you're going to check on each one of these patients to make sure they're doing okay. And to do that, you're going to pick a patient like this one, and you're going to draw a cube, and you're going to hope you don't get yellow. All right, red. If I'd have gotten yellow, he would have died. He's at a 4, there is no 5. So I picked red, he's all right. So right now I don't want any color, so I'm going to pick the 2 greens here. That one, nope, he's not sick. What about this one? Nope, he's not sick, so I'm going to go with red now. If I pick a red cube, he'll get worse. And I did, so I picked a red cube. So he would go from a 2 to now a 3. So he got a little worse. Now I'll check on the blue one here, and the blue one's okay too. Well, what happens to these? Well, these will go over here into the discard pile here. Now, if you drew a black during this phase, you would have to draw an additional 2 more cubes to see. So drawing black, never good. Now, the next thing I get to do as a doctor is I can try to move a patient, like transfer a patient into one of these rooms from the waiting room to here, or I can start to heal a patient. So let's just say, let's go through transferring a patient. As one action, I would flip over one of my tokens here, and I would say, okay, let's move this yellow guy into this ward. So I take out the 2 cubes there and put a 2, since there were 2 there, and put him right there. And let's say that's all I want to do. For my second one, I wanted to try to heal this guy, but of course, as we see on our ward thing, I must heal the worst person first. So I can't heal number 2, I got to heal number 4. So how I do that is I look at my ward ability. It says I get to draw 6 cubes. Now, this is where you want that color. I want the color yellow. The color yellow now will cure him. If I pull a black, it's going to hurt him 1. So I don't want to definitely pull a black since he's a 4. So I will pull 6 cubes from here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, there it is. So you see I picked 2 yellow cubes. All right, that's really good because he went from a 4 now to a 2. Now, because I healed him twice, I'm actually going to get some money on the money track here for healing him, making him better. If I cure him completely, I'm also going to get some prestige points that I can add, determined by the number of PV points on the board here. And there's different ways to get more points and more prestige as you're healing them. Now again, if I would have drawn a black cube around here, he would have been 2 plus 1, so he would have gone back to being a 3. And I would have only cured him, well, I would have cured him twice, but then he would have gotten worse once, but I still would have gotten the money for curing him twice there. So that's how it goes. You can go around trying to heal people. Other actions you can do in the game is to build or upgrade the hospital around you. As you see on the sides here, there's room for expansions, 8 expansions. There's actually 10 rooms in the game that you can choose from. And they're completely upgradable. So if you look at the morgue, it costs 10 to build this, and then another 10 to upgrade it. And there's more tombstones and cheaper tombstones I can buy to help hide some bodies and keep my hospital alive and running. Or I have specialty places, like here's one for cardiology. Actually, that's the advanced one. This is the basic one, as you see here. And the advanced one has a 5th column, which is a coma, so I can keep them alive a little bit more. Game even comes in with these little markers to let you know how bad your patient is. I love that. Watch it. Also flat lines. They have them for all 5 rooms too. So you can put those, if you get those room special capabilities, you can put those around the room. So you have rooms like that. You have things like the research lab, which will help you research for training material, and you can help upgrade and train your doctors. Clinics, break rooms, emergency room, and of course I already showed you the morgue. So you could also choose to get one of these rooms here or upgrade it too. That's another action you could have. Now, certain doctors can purchase certain rooms if they have discounts for the room. Usually though, one of your admins here will probably be doing that duty, and I'll show you who can do what in a minute. But anyway, one of the other things that you can do in this is, of course, I said you can conduct research. What you would do is you would use your action, conduct some research, flip over one of these tokens, and here I have bedside manner. I get a +1. I get to pull more cubes if one doctor has this. So another action I could do, if I researched it, I could train one of my doctors who are in the game, whichever one of these doctors are in the game, and for $5, I could give them this token, which would give them a +1 in their ability. So this just allows doctors to get better at what they do. You can also hire people as well. Of course, once you get to that prestige and you unlock it. So right now, for instance, I'm at a 2. Well, I can't get this one, it's a 3. I can unlock this one, it's a 1. Now, for another $5, I can hire this person. What does she do? She's an OR. Okay, it's a +3. I get to draw 3 more cubes when healing those patients. That's nice. And what I can do is I can choose to put her in one of these rooms. So let me see. Yellow has a lot going for it, so I'm going to put her there to kind of assist me in healing those people. Now, another action you can do is you can reassign staff to different rooms. So maybe, infectious diseases is cleared, and maybe even worse is internal medicine. So as an action, I can actually move the OR here now, and she'll be assisting doctors there when healing. So that's just an example of what you can do. Now, some of these players, they do have their own little office where they work for you at any time, and you don't have to assign them. But some of them, like the OR, you would be assigning as an action. Now, looking over the Chief of Staff action you can do, this is only for the administrator. Each administrator has special abilities they can do on their card, and you can choose either or of their special abilities, and they're all good, and you can do either or each round of the game. So they're always going to have, of course, an administrator is going to have one action to do and one Chief of Staff action to do. The book is quite clear on what everyone can do. Of course, if you're using that medical action token, which is right here, you can heal a patient, build or upgrade an area for which a doctor has that discount, only if a doctor has that discount. To do both this or the administrative action, you can transfer a patient or conduct research, and only administrative actions would be that build and upgrade any area, hire staff, assign staff, and train a doctor. And then the Chief of Staff here, gives you a special action. So what you're doing is you're basically going around, that's the end of the round. At the beginning of the next round, you'll flip over 2 more cards. You'll draw 5 each from that. Someone can die in your waiting room if they get more than, 4 cubes on their aisle. So you definitely want to start transferring them in and start curing them. Now, again, I said, after you've used up all your cubes, you just throw them back in here and just start redrawing again. The game goes on. And at the end, you definitely don't want to go broke, and you don't want to kill off that many people. The game ends when you go through the entire deck of these cards here, okay? And see if you can stay alive by not killing too many people or going broke. Now, they have different scenarios on how much prestige you have, determines how well you did at the win. So if you see here, it gives you, depending on how many prestige you have, will give you different endings. Some are sad, some are better, some are okay. So that is Healthy Heart Hospital. All right, so final thoughts. What do I think about this game? I have been looking for a hospital-themed game for a while, and I saw this one, read a little bit about it. The artwork, as you can see, looks just beautiful. I love the artwork. I love the idea. I got the game, and I instantly found that there were some things I hate about the game. First off, the board. This is the board. It's just paper. That's all it is, just paper. I could easily rip this. It's cardstock. That's cheap. And the game isn't cheap, but this is cheap. This is cheap. Another thing, they don't give you a little bag for your little pieces. They say, oh, get a cup. What? Oh, everyone has a mug. Yeah, but why can't you afford just like a little simple drawstring bag or something? Put a little red cross on it, give it a little theme. I don't understand. Why would that cost them so much? And some of the boards, some of the pieces have like a little chalky at first. They have a little chalky feel to it. So what they did is they gave you a little napkin. I'm not kidding. It has their logo on it. It's Wipe-A-Lot. It's to wipe off the cheap residue from your game. That's cheap. That's awful. This is stupid. Oh, a napkin after all the money. I mean, and here's the aggravating thing. This is a fun game. It's a fun game. It really is. But I don't like that I had to go get my own bag or get my own cup for it. This napkin is worthless. It doesn't get the film off the cheap paper board. There is only one game that I've reviewed that has been cheaper made than this, and that is the embarrassing GDW Campaign Trail, another game I really like, but it's got the cheapest pieces imaginable. Now, this one isn't that cheap, but it gets second place easily, easily. I think they are reprinting the game. I think they're going to get nicer pieces, and I sure hope they do. I noticed that the prices dropped on this, which is really good. I got gypped on this. I did not get it for a good deal. I paid regular price, and that was not a good deal. Now you can get it for about 45% cheaper than what I got it for, which is really awesome. Is it worth it? You're going to have to decide. Do you like co-op games? Do you like medical games? Go for it. There is one little rule I forgot to mention. On any bonus, when a doctor is healing someone, if he has any bonus cubes he can pull out, if he uses those bonus cubes, at the end of that turn, he can take 2 cubes of his color and put them back into the bag. So, you know, if he wants to try to heal him again, take 2 more yellows and throw it in there and give you a better chance at healing yellow or red or green or blue, whatever it is. So that is kind of neat, and I did forget that little rule when I was reviewing the game. But overall, Healthy Heart Hospital is good. I just wish I'd have paid half of what I actually did for it, because then I wouldn't feel as cheated. What could they have done differently? First off, this is a joke. Don't insult me with a napkin. Secondly, get a real board. This is garbage. It looks cheap. I'm embarrassed to bring this out to my friends. I've only played it with my little nephews. They thought it was okay, not that much. I like it because I like co-op games, and I think with a little bit more work, this could be really good. I got my own bag. It only costs like $2 to get a cheap little drawstring bag for the cubes. So, you know, but if you have to work that hard to put together a good game, there could be something better out there. So I don't know if I can recommend it. It's up to you. What you saw, if you like it and you like co-op games, it is for a decent price now, and you should pick it up. If you say, Matt, I'm not much into co-op games and the hospital theme doesn't do it for me, then you shouldn't get it. But I'm happy. I am happy it's in my collection, and I do like the game. I just wish it had better components. Anyway, gamers, that is all the time I have for now. Until next time, game on.